Warriors Fastbreak on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub and Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub and Grill. And hello everybody, welcome to Warriors Fastbreak on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thanks for joining me today. And we'll start off with men's basketball and head coach Todd Eisner. Thanks for joining us again, and congratulations, locked down the number 3 seed in the upcoming NSIC tournament. So you get a home game against Minot State on Wednesday. Tell me a little bit, how much does it really matter to get a home game rather than a road game in the playoffs?
I think it's huge. I think anybody would prefer to play at home and have their normal day-to-day situation and be able to sleep in their own bed, and so I think your goal to start the year is to obviously win the league and put yourself in a position to host as much of the tournament as you can.
With the game coming up pretty quickly, I imagine, does that change some routines and like practice times and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it really has. Sunday has been kind of a film and lifting day for us, and we gave the guys a day off yesterday, and then actually practiced at 6 o'clock this morning because of class schedules, and so it changed up our routine a little bit in terms of the day off and when we were going to go and at what time we're going to go, and that's the fun time of the year. You just adjust accordingly and get ready to play.
You see any differences in the players having to practice that early in the morning?
Well, we've been doing it all semester anyway. We've been doing it Wednesday and Thursday mornings because of class schedules. We've been practicing at 6, so it's really not much of an adjustment for our guys. It's just a different day, and it speeds up our preparation in terms of our scout. Zach and I both spent the majority of yesterday getting ready to watch as much Minot State film as we can to get caught up with what they've done since we've seen them, and started showing the guys some of that already today.
All right, well, we'll get to that at the end of this segment, but first let's talk about this weekend's games. Wayne State is the game that you won to get yourself a home game in the tournament, 75-62, a win in that game. You had 4 players score over double figures. Talk about the contributions of the team and what happened against Wayne State?
Well, it was a different game for us. Wayne State, we saw on film the Saturday before us against Southwest Minnesota, played all zone, and so we prepared during the week to face zone. Whether there's 20 minutes or 40 minutes, and they came out and played 40 minutes of zone, and so it was different for us. We hadn't seen that throughout the majority of the season, and I thought we handled it really well. I thought we handled their full court pressure really well. We just didn't make a lot of shots. We were 10 of 33 from the 3, so we got a lot of 3-point shots, a lot of clean looks, and just didn't take advantage of it. But defensively, we were really sound pretty much from about the 18-minute mark of the first half throughout the rest of the game, and that really was the key to the victory.
How do you feel the zone defense either helps or hurts your 3-point shooting?
Well, it should help. If we move the ball and make them chase us, I would like to think we'd get a lot of clean looks, and I thought we did get a lot of clean looks. It was just one of those nights where the shots didn't go down. Most nights I think we've been a pretty decent 3-point shooting team. We've got a lot of guys. We've got actually all 5 guys that can spread the defense and knock down shots from the 3-point line. It just happened to be one of those nights where they didn't go down at the rate we were used to.
All right. You had basically held the lead for most of the game, and Wayne State is one of those teams that's kind of struggled this season. So defensively, how did the Warriors fare in that game?
I thought we were good all weekend, and like I said, we started out a little slow. We let them jump us early, and I called the timeout, I think, at the 17-minute mark, and encouraged, as I do so eloquently, to our guys to change their approach, and they were really good from there on out. And they've got some weapons at Wayne State that, especially at home, that we needed to be aware of. We weren't aware of it the first couple of minutes of the game, and made some really good adjustments, and our intensity level and efficiency on the defensive end really picked up.
All right, then on Saturday it was Augustana, as we said, top 10 in the nation, so it was going to be a difficult game for you. How do you feel you approached that game?
Oh, I thought our guys came in with a great level of confidence. We talked before the game that, it's not about hoping to win, it's about knowing you could win. It was the best offense team in the league versus the best defensive team in the league, and we wanted to make sure the defensive team was the one that was most successful. And I thought really for about 35 minutes of the game, we did a great job of defending them, probably better than anyone has all year. We just ran into a night where we really struggled to score, and if we could have had some efficiency on that end of the floor, it could have been a different outcome. But I have no complaints about our effort. Our guys went out there and they really swung away, and I thought really bothered Augustana with the way they want to play, and we took a lot of that away and made them really earn their points.
Now, I think last week's show I had asked you, if you felt good about facing a top 10 team in the nation right at the end of the season, heading into the playoffs, and you said, well, let's see what happens after the game.
Sure.
So was that a good test for you to get into the playoffs?
Well, I think again, I want our guys to walk into those type of situations knowing that they can win the game. If you hope or you wonder if you can win, you're already defeated. Augustana is very, very talented, but I think it gave our guys an idea of what level we can compete at, where we want the program to go. We want to get to and where Winona State has been and where Augustana is currently at. We've got a ways to go yet, but I think with what we're setting from a foundation on the defensive end of the floor, we're going to give ourselves a chance as soon as possible.
All right, health-wise going into the playoffs, how are you doing right now?
We're banged up a little bit again. We were really fortunate on Friday. Charlie Kuntz popped out his shoulder in practice on Wednesday. We didn't know if we'd have him for this weekend, and he gutted it out and played for us on Friday. Had 8 rebounds, did a nice job inside, but really kind of paid the price and was unable to play on Saturday. Josh gave us a few more minutes on Friday, but again, once we won on Friday and knew we had clinched the 3 seed, we had to kind of think, long term or short term, long term for Wednesday, and we couldn't really afford to have Josh get injured or Charlie get re-injured, so we sat both of them, and only going to play them in an emergency, and thankfully didn't need to use them. Tommy Gackey is going to be out for the year now. He's got mono. And so he's obviously not feeling great and won't be able to participate from an activity standpoint for a while. So we've got a few guys, and so we went into Saturday's game really with only 3 post players, and that's with Nick Arns playing on one leg. So we were a little bit behind the 8 ball, and I just really loved the way our guys went out and competed.
All right, I've got to ask you one quick question. In the games that we have seen over the last couple of weeks, we've seen Muhammad Ali Benamar really vocal and really active on the bench, cheering the team on. How much does that help to have somebody who knows that his career is over still be that invested into the team?
Yeah, and the 4 seniors, all of them, but Muhammad in particular, when you get your senior season taken away from you due to injury, he could have actually just even walked away and just finished school and not been a part of what we're doing. He's at practice every single day. He's at weightlifting every single day. He's our most vocal cheerleader on the bench, to the point where referees have to ask him to sit down a lot of times. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, showing how important Winona State basketball is to him, and really showing his teammates that he still cares.
All right, final minute or so that we have. Minot State is coming up. You said you're watching film already and trying to figure out what they've done differently since the first time you saw them. What have you seen so far?
Well, they really execute on the offensive end of the floor. They run a ton of different things, so we're going to have to be really locked in mentally. They got a young man, Michael Pello, who shoots the ball really, really well from the 3. Their whole team shoots the ball from the 3. They got a power forward, Rudolph, that has averaged 17 and 8 on the year as a sophomore and is a very, very good player. They played well against us up there. We played really, really poorly. It'll be a good opportunity for us to show them that we aren't the team that they saw up in Minot in January.
All right, well, let's take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. We'll get the player perspective when we come back. Corey Jeffs will join us on the show right after this.
Get an inside look at the Winona State basketball program with Warriors Fast Break on TV 25, brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Host Justin Barrientos sits down with the Warriors head coaches each week to break down last week's game and to look ahead at WSU's next opponent, as well as chat with Winona State players. Tune in at 4:30 p.m. on Thursdays, 6 p.m. on Fridays, 7 a.m. on Saturdays, and before every Warrior home game for Warriors Fast Break on HBC, brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill.
Welcome back to Warriors Fast Break, brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill here on TV 25. Corey Jeffs now joins us. Thanks for joining us here on the show.
No worries.
I got to ask you about being a starter this season. Last year, I think you got 5 starts in your freshman year at Winona State. Now you've been in the starting lineup for most of this season. Tell us a little bit about how that changes your approach to the game, if at all.
It doesn't really change my approach in pregame, what I do too much. I still do the same things, try stay locked into the scout and what I need to do individually. So I don't really think it changes my approach to the game too much. I still have to go and do the same things. So,
does it help you a little bit that you get out in warm-ups and then you're ready to go and you're right in the starting lineup, right on the floor already?
Yeah, that helps a little because I'm nice and warmed up. Sucks sitting on the bench a little, get those legs nice and cold, but no, it's better body-wise.
Okay, I got to ask about the change of play over the last couple of weeks for the whole Warrior team. Kind of a slow start, trying to adapt to a new system. How do you think you're playing right now? Both you personally and the team.
As a team, I think we're playing really well defensively. One of the best defensive teams in the league. Offensively, we're there sometimes, we're not there sometimes, but I think we're still sticking with it and we're playing really hard, and I don't think you can ask too much apart from playing hard. So.
All right, personally, how have you changed from the beginning of the season till now?
How have I changed?
Yeah.
Just really trying to take the ball off an on-ball screen. I'm not really used to that. I was used to more of an motion kind of offense, coming off a bunch of off-ball screens and getting open for a shot, ripping baseline. So it's an adjustment in a sense, but then again, you're a basketball player. You still need to go and play basketball. So.
All right, I got to ask you, Coach, about coaching international players, Mohammed and now Corey. What kind of history do you have in coaching players that come from a different style of basketball, and how does that work?
Well, I've had experience coaching a few. I've had a couple at Bellevue, one from Lithuania, a couple from Germany. So it's different, just because sometimes the style that they are used to playing, or just the coaching philosophy and things like that, maybe have been a little different prior to getting here. So sometimes it's an adjustment for them. But Corey's one of our hardest workers. He's in the gym more than anybody. He gets more shots up than anybody on our team. It's something that he takes great pride in. And anytime, I don't care where you're from, anytime you have a work ethic and a passion for the game, we'll find opportunities for you to help us win games. And so it's been a good year for Corey. I think he's really excited about getting to the off season and continuing to build his body up and continue to get more used to the things that I'm expecting of him. He's continuing to develop on the defensive end of the floor. And then I know he'll work and do everything we ask him to do offensively to make himself better as we continue to move forward with his career.
All right. We've talked about this a little bit before, Corey, but family and kind of being away from family. Last year, your mom and your sister came to watch you play a couple of games. This year, I know your sister was here. Yep. Talk about that and what it's like to have them here when they actually are here.
It's really great to have them here to see them, because obviously you don't see them that many times. I think in the past 3 years I've been home for a total of 6 weeks. So to go and to have my family come over here and visit is great. And because I explain so many things to them about, what goes on here, and they're just as excited to come over here and see that. So it's something special having my family over here. Yeah.
I saw a post that you put on Twitter, or a tweet that you had on, it was maybe a couple years ago, that talked about 50 degrees in Minnesota, saying, hey, that feels pretty good. What has Minnesota done to me? How do you feel about Minnesota now after a couple years being here?
I think I'm well adjusted. I think it was 60 degrees in Wayne the other day, and it felt like it was boiling hot. Whereas if you're in Australia, you would honestly have your trackies and jumper on and almost a beanie on in a way. But I've adjusted to the weather nicely over the last 2.5 years. But no, it's good. 37 feels really nice now, I'll tell you that.
Very good. Is there anything that you miss from Australia that's maybe common there that you can't get here, that even maybe you want your family to ship to you while you're here in Minnesota?
Probably just some food, like some Tim Tams or Vegemite here and there, which I have a ton of, thanks to Mum. She sends over a little gift basket every year. So other than that, no, I just miss my mates, but I love it here, so don't really miss home too often,
Very
to
good.
be honest.
So Vegemite really is a big thing in Australia. It's not just the song.
Yeah, no, it's the real deal.
Okay, very good. I have to ask you too, Riley Bamanek was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about your battles playing FIFA and the fact that maybe you're the player to beat on the team. Can you talk about that a little bit and how intense the battles get?
I am definitely the player to beat. I think Riley has only beaten me in penalties. He's had the occasional win here and there, but any talk of anyone else being better than me at FIFA, I will most comfortably say I'm the best here at FIFA. Probably in Winona too, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I put myself up there.
There's a challenge issued, I think. I did see that you said you lost to Riley in FIFA on penalties, and you hashtagged that with all-time low.
Yeah, that was a really dark point for me, and I think that's the hardest I've ever worked in my life. Is just putting in time on the training ground and just getting shots up and working on my free kicks and stuff like that. So it was a really hard time for me, but I think I bounced back really well, being ranked #1 in the region for FIFA. So that's nice.
Very good. Well, I hope that continues for you. I do have one last question, just for a lot of fun. I've heard that you've developed a pretty good American accent. Can we hear a little bit of that now?
Yeah, well, for example, I really struggled to order McDonald's through the drive-thru, and some people would not understand what I was saying. They kept asking me to repeat it, so eventually I would just go to them, "Hey, can I please have a cheeseburger and some French fries along with a chocolate milkshake?" And they'll be like this, "Yeah, no problem. We know what you want." Whereas if I said an Australian accent, they had no idea. So.
Well, go ahead and say it in the Australian accent.
"Oh, can I just have some cheeseburger and some chips, please, mate?" And then they would just go, "Huh?" So it's another language, I'll tell you that.
Very good. You're adapting very well to Minnesota. Then.
Cheers.
All right, thank you for joining us here this week. We're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, we'll talk women's basketball with head coach Scott Ballard. That's right after this. Warriors Fast Break on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub and Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub and Grill. Tune in for the Sports Buzz every Tuesday at 5:30 as a panel of local sports journalists tackle the hottest topics on everything from local high school and collegiate sports to regional discussion about the Twins, Brewers, Vikings, and Packers. With the Power Play Fantasy Football Challenge to the Rant of the Week and NFL Pick'em, the Sports Buzz is fast-paced and sure to entertain. That's new episodes of the Sports Buzz every Tuesday at 5:30 with replays only on HBC TV 25. And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on HBC TV 25. Time now to talk women's basketball. Head coach Scott Ballard joins us, and congratulations on a successful weekend. I guess it's now official, you're the top seed in the NSIC tournament and officially NSIC champions. Talk about the success of this weekend. It seems like it was kind of business as usual this weekend.
Well, even though we knew going into this weekend that we had the number one seed and outright conference championship clinched, we still understand the importance with regional implications down the road, with an opportunity to play against two successful programs that are having winning seasons once again. And I don't believe that our women's basketball program has ever won at both of those sites on the same trip. I know we won at Wayne 4 or 5 years ago, and that was only the second time in my 12 years that we had won there. And I know that we had won at Augie 4 years ago, but we'd never beaten both those teams on the same trip. So that was quite an accomplishment by our group, and won both games convincingly. We had a nice cushion to work with going inside the last 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. So two completely different styles of teams. They both play zone, but Augie plays a lot of pressure, full court trapping defense, and Wayne, they're known for their 2-3 zone, and we really did a better job attacking the zone this past weekend than we did the first time we played them.
I want to ask you about the difference between the non-conference schedule and then the conference schedule that you had, because in the non-conference season you tended to just run away with games. And in the conference schedule, it seems like you get out to a fast start, mm-hmm. and then maybe in the middle there's a little bit of a lull, mm-hmm. teams come back, and then you hit the gas towards the end.
Well, it's all about matchups and style of play and personnel and depth and all those kind of things. The non-conference portion of your schedule, 4 of those were not Division II opponents. So, athletically and talent-wise, we, had superiority. But once you get in conference, the talent pool and athleticism and skill, you're splitting hairs. There's not much difference from one team to the other. But with regards to teamwork and depth and balance, the teams that have that are the teams that are the biggest challenge to have success against. And I told our group before we played Wayne in the locker room that we've preached defense and rebounding wins championships, and we've been telling them that for 2 years. Well, if you look in our conference, the top 4 teams in our league are also the top 4 teams on the defensive side of things and the top 4 teams in rebounding. So it's just confirmation of what we've been telling them, that defense and rebounding can win you championships. Offense is what people come to see, and some nights we play pretty basketball offensively, and then other nights we have to work for everything we get. And there's a lot of good coaches in our league that make it a challenge, and they try to take away things that are your favorites in terms of offensive sets, and try to make you do some things that you're a little bit uncomfortable with. And so that's the cat and mouse game that the coaches go through from one game to the next.
Let's talk a little bit about the Wayne State game. The final is 73-55, and according to the write-up that I saw, the second quarter was really the only quarter where it was kind of a big battle between the teams, but it seems like you had control for most of the game. Is that kind of the way that you felt the game went?
Well, the first two quarters were hotly contested. I think we won the first quarter by maybe 5 points. We won the second quarter by maybe 2. They made a run in the second quarter and tied us, I think. And then we put a little run together the last 2 minutes of the first half and had a 7-point lead at halftime. And then the third quarter we played really well, and Connor hit some ridiculous buzzer beater shots back to back that really gave us some momentum. But we did as the game went along, we did a better job of attacking the high post area, got some high-low opportunities and converted there, and then mixed in some three-point shooting on the perimeter. And so we developed some balance. As soon as we get balance, all of a sudden, it's like the defense, their head starts to spin. It's like, they try to take something away and then they give up something easy over here. So that's offensively, that's been the strength of our team all year. And when we have balance, that's when we have some dominant performances.
Well, we'll talk about Connor Nagel a little bit later, but she's
Okay.
going to be our guest in the next segment. Let's talk about the Augustana game. Tara Roloff had a really good game for you in that one.
Yeah, Tara's had games where she looked unbelievable, with her pull-up jump shot, and then if she's hitting some threes to counter that, she can be a difficult matchup. And then when you have, Connor or Foley or somebody else on the other side of the floor that's knocking shots down as well, that opens things up for our post people. So, our inside game and our outside game are there to complement each other. And, Tara stepped up in a big way against Augie, and we needed that, especially second half playing without Foley. And Connor was having to spend a lot of time handling the ball against the press and didn't get as many looks. But we really couldn't afford to take either one of them out of the game because we were a little bit shorthanded depth-wise.
Okay, and then kind of last question here in this segment. The first Central Region rankings came out. You were ranked 4th in that. Is that a little bit of a surprise to you? It kind of was to me.
Yeah, we thought we could be the 2 or 3 spot, but when you go through their formula and criteria and whatever, we'll find out tomorrow when the second regional ranking comes out if you're splitting hairs with where teams are at in front or behind each other. So we were one of the few teams in the top 5 in the regional ranking that played 2 teams with winning records this past week. So we're hoping that as things play themselves out, that will benefit us more. And it's almost like a sliding scale, it seems like. Where you play good competition, you move up on a sliding scale. When you play lower competition, you slide down a little bit. So we're hoping that's going to balance itself out as we go along.
All right, well, playoffs will start on Wednesday for the Warriors. We're going to take a break here and to get the player perspective when we come back. Connor Nagel will join us right after this. Warriors Fast Break on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub and Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub and Grill.
We chose HBC because they're a local company. They have a big audience in Winona, which is the geographic group that we're looking for. Mel is very easy to work with. She's genuinely concerned about how our money is being spent, and she does everything she can to make sure we get the most for our money. She takes care of us. So whenever there's a problem, which is rarely, I know that I can go to her and she's going to take care of it.
To see how HBC Advertising can help your company, call Melanie at 507-474-5802.
Welcome back to Warriors Fast Break on TV 25, brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Time now to talk to Connor Nagel. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I got to get the first question out of the way. 3 times now you have been NSIC Player of the Week, 3 consecutive weeks. What does that mean to you at this point?
Honestly, it's a great honor and it's awesome. I couldn't have, received that award, an award like that without my teammates, but really in the hindsight of things, it doesn't really matter. My goal is just strictly team goals, and so yeah, it's great to have an award like that, but I don't, all I'm worried about is what we do as a team, so it's how I focus on that.
Well, that's a tough question to ask and to answer, but from a
Yeah.
coach's perspective, to have a player, it seems like at the beginning of the season we said it's hard to single out one person on the team, and to have Connor win it 3 weeks in a
Yeah,
row.
we
it's all
didn't know if we
team
were ever going to have anybody make that because we're such a balanced team. But, it's like Connor was referring to. Honestly, when somebody on our team gets an award like that, we accept it as a team award because we understand all the dynamics that have to come into play in order to have success. And when a person gets recognized for that off of our team, that's just a piece of what was going on. And it's like Connor said, she couldn't have done it without her teammates, but Connor, deserves the recognition for taking advantage of opportunities that she was put in. And, teammates can set a screen for you and give you the pass, but she's got to finish it off by making the shot. And she's playing with a lot of confidence right now and playing the best basketball of her career at the right time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. A hot three-point shooting, that's part of the reason why you've gotten the award 3 weeks in a row, now number 2 all-time at Winona State, I think just 10 behind the record there. And our Warrior insider tells me that she might understand why. You got a tattoo recently on your left hand, and maybe that's why you're shooting so hot?
Yes, I did. I did get a tattoo. My grandma had passed last year, so I got her birth date and her signature on my left hand. And kind of the reason why I got it on my left hand is she had what was called a trick finger. So long story short, I got it on my left hand, and it just turns out to be my shooting hand. And it was a special thing that I think about my grandma as well. And I don't know, yeah, maybe things just match up like that, and it takes off. I don't know.
Now, did I hear, are you shooting with your right hand a little bit now?
Yeah, sometimes I do shoot with my right hand. Yeah, against Wayne, I got off some crazy three-point shot, with the buzzer going down. But, yeah, otherwise I try to keep it in my left. But we'll see.
When you see that, maybe switching hands and shooting with the other hand, even though you're a natural righty, correct?
Yep.
What do you think when you see her shooting with the right hand?
Honestly, she was in a desperate situation. The clock was running out, and they jumped on her left hip, and she just kind of did a little step through and shot it with her right hand. But I've seen her, they were warming up, was it against Augie? And I seen her hit 6 out of 8 shots from top to key right-handed. And her right-handed shot looks pretty good. So it's not really a surprise that she's capable of making it, but I think I prefer her shooting it with her left hand. I think the percentage goes up.
Yeah, I think so. That's pretty good. Let me ask you a little bit about your family, because you're very close with your family. Your mom and dad are at every game. We see them. I talked to your mom a couple weeks ago, and your sister has been at some games as well. Talk about how close you are with your family.
Yeah, so I have an older sister, Chelsea, and so we're a pretty small family, but very tight-knit, very close. And yeah, my sister came and surprised me senior night, and I had no idea that she was coming back. And I'm so glad that she was able to see, us play so well as a team and, win the conference championship. And so it was just such an important moment for me, and I'm so glad, my parents were there to see it, and my sister, because it's obviously something that I'm going to talk about for the rest of my life. So I'm glad I was able to share that moment with them.
With your career winding down now, is there any one thing that you can pinpoint as maybe the absolute highlight of your basketball career? Because in high school, you were the school's all-time leading scorer, boys or girls, and now you're playing, as the coach said, your best basketball here at Winona State.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that I'll probably pinpoint, but I think the biggest thing that I'm going to take away from, Warrior basketball is just how close our group is. And I'm literally going to be walking away from this experience with 16 sisters, another dad as a role model, and Coach Wirtz and Coach Katie, another mom, and so that's really is what I'm going to take away from all this. It's, of course, the progress we've made and the history we've made is awesome, but really when it comes down to it, it's the people that I've met and the relationships I've formed that is untouchable.
All right, and I guess, final question, what do you need to do to continue this hot streak going throughout the playoffs and possibly the NCAA playoffs?
You know, I think we just have to keep doing what we're doing, keep working hard. We can't overlook anyone, and I know we're not going to, so we just have to keep working hard and keep doing what we're doing and not try to, get too excited for different games coming up. Like tomorrow we face Bemidji, and it's important that we don't overlook them or try to do too much. We just stick to our game plan.
All right, well, thank you very much, and good luck in the tournament.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining us here on Warriors Fast Break. We'll see you next time here on TV 25.